This video is about Wukong, Dahlia, and the swap nonsense. Let's start with the swap nonsense. So in this season, all heroes within the Illyrian synergy, that is, all of these heroes, they all gain an ability that after taking action, there's a 100% chance to trigger the swap effect. So they will switch position with a random ally or an empty slot. It will, if there's no other ally, it will just move to another empty spot. And after swap, they will gain various effects. Some is increasing stats, and the others are healing. So a lot of players don't like this effect because it added more randomness to the fight and removed the strategic planning, like how you position your units. So it removed agency from players, and now you have less control because now your units just randomly swapping. These are all valid criticism, and I do think swap is a bad design. But the hero who benefit the most from all of these Elations heroes having the swap effect is Wukong. The reason is because Wukong's passive. So after Wukong triggers the swap effect, the number of basic attacks hits is increased by 1 up to 10 times. So I got some dev confirmation on how this passive works. So first, it triggers when Wukong proactively swapping with other allies, or when the other allies are triggering the swap effect and Wukong is being passively swapped, like passively change position, and that also triggers. Now, what's the meaning of the number of basic attack hits is increased by 1? So here's how I see it. So Wukong has a invisible counter, and whenever Wukong triggers swap, this counter increases by 1. And if the counter is 2, then next time Wukong will perform attack, whether it is his basic attack on like round 1 and round 5, or is like when Wukong basic attack off of the protector synergy. Whenever these happens, Wukong will, instead of dealing damage 1 time, it will deal damage twice. And if the invisible counter is like 10, it will deal damage 10 times. So the more Wukong swaps, the more instance of damage Wukong will do whenever he get a chance to perform basic attack. Considering Wukong's basic attack can dispel enemy buffs, like this increasing the number of his basic attack is really important. Also, the ethereal synergy can really benefit from multi-instance damage because the more instance of your damage, the higher chance you will do multiple critical strike, and that will grant you a lot of benefit, such as shield from Katrina and healing from Karnak, as well as gaining sanctuary and awakening from 11. So yeah, it is really important to increase this invisible counter of Wukong, and that's why it is really beneficial for Wukong if your team is doing multiple swapping each round. But the swapping effect is only effective in this season and is like exclusive to the season content. So it's in Northern Expedition or Foggy Colosseum and World Arena. It's not effective in your main mission and normal arena as well as Yggdrasil Colosseum, Yggdrasil Supremacy. They are, they are not effective. So that put Wukong in a very unique situation where he is really good in season 4 content. But after this season where there's no longer the swap effect and outside of seasons where there's not that many swap effect, Wukong is actually not that great. But in this season, he's really good. He has a chance to even be better than Eudora, I would argue. But yeah, that's only for this season. If you want to like do really well in the Foggy and the World Arena of this season and then quit the game, then maybe you can go for Wukong. But other than that, Wukong is not that great on his own. Now, another unit that can help Wukong when the season's over is Dahlia. So Dahlia switch position with an ally before each action. Remember, Wukong will gain his benefit even if he is passively changed position. So Dahlia will function as an enabler for Wukong. But it's actually not guaranteed that Dahlia will swap with Wukong every time. So this combo isn't that consistent. So I don't think this combo is an S tier combo even if you have both Wukong and Dahlia. But I do think Dahlia is a good hero on her own because when she swaps position with an ally, she and the ally will gain attack and maximum health increase. So the word health is missing in the description. I checked the Chinese version. It basically means that when she's swapping with an ally, she and the ally that she's swapping with is going to have attack increased by 30% and max health increased by 60% for each buff she has, and it stacks up to 50. And she will also share the buff she already has with the ally. So that could enable some interesting combos, such as we can put her in frontline, and there will be some relics that can grant it to frontline allies, such as Plague Bow is an example because when it targets the lowest health ally, but if all your units are at full health, then it will prioritize frontline allies and give them 5 stack of Holy Shield. But another example is the Javelin's Shield. It will grant shield and maximum HP bonus to your frontline allies, and Dahlia will swap position with another ally and then share their buffs essentially. Like it will share the maximum HP increase to the ally, and additionally, she will grant some attack and max HP boost with her first passive ability. So I do think she's useful. Plus, Doomsday synergy in this season is keeping the gaining 100% reflect rate boost on all allies. So it's always good to have more Doomsday heroes because you can build like a 2 or 3 Doomsday team. Overall, Wukong is really good in this season and only in season game mode. Outside of season, he cannot function without Dahlia, but Dahlia is really good in the season and outside of the season.